Okay, good morning class, welcome back. The topic for today is agents of socialization. Okay, now I shall be doing a little bit of what we had done in the last class so that there's a continuation of the same topic. Alright, now in the previous class we had done a few discussions. I'm not going to go in detail, just so that there's a continuation of the same topic I'll be doing. Okay, now when we learnt about socialization, I told you that family is the first organization or an institution where you learn to socialize or where you learn to interact. Now the word learning is there. Learning, so interaction or socialization is learning. So where do you start learning? You start in the family. Okay, now the learning that takes place, now you see, as soon as you are born and when you start learning, you are still a kid. Your brain has not developed. So the learning should not be very strict. Okay, the learning should start in a relaxing manner. So similarly, okay, in the family, exactly that happens. Learning takes place in a very smooth manner, in a very easy manner, and you are not, see, if you break any rule also, you are not punished for it, because you have just begun, you've just started to learn how to interact. You are just in your learning phase. Okay, so when learning takes place in a family, it does not take place in a strict environment. Second one that we learnt is the school. Now after you come of age, or after you turn around 3 to 5, okay, some start at 3 only, some start at 5. So 3 to 5 years you join, either you join a nursery school or you join the big school. Alright, now you start your formal education, meaning you join a very formal organization where there are strict rules and regulations. You have to wear a uniform, you have to follow certain code of conduct, and if you break rules, it is not like the learning that takes place in a family. You are required to follow certain rules and regulations, and these rules and regulations, if you keep on breaking these rules and regulations, you are punished for it. So the first informal learning takes place in the family, and the first formal learning of a child takes place in the school. Now the third point is the peer group, meaning your friends. Now why I am explaining friends after school is because the first place that you really start choosing your friends, alright, start interacting with your age group is in school. And here you start choosing your friends and you become a part of a certain group of friends. Now here also socialization takes place in the school or outside school with your own age group, your peer groups, your friends. Now when you are interacting with them, socialization is taking place, because you are not only interacting, you are also learning. Now how are you learning is, now your friends have come from different family backgrounds, so the experiences that they have gone through for the past 4 to 5 years is different from what you have experienced, what the kind of learning. Alright, you may have learned to do the same thing but in a different manner. Alright, so the learning, these different friends have come from different family backgrounds, have come from different experiences. They have made mistakes, or they make different types of mistakes. Different friends in school make different mistakes. So when these friends are making a mistake and when you are together, you learn that you are not supposed to do certain things in a certain manner. You have to change your method of doing things. From their mistakes, you learn to do it in a certain manner, and from your mistakes, they learn to do the same thing in a certain manner. So you are learning among your friends, you are learning how to do certain things. Okay, now what happens is, see, the interaction that takes place among your family and your friends is different, because and in the school also, because in the family and friends, there are elders, okay, elders to look after you. Sorry, not friends, in the school. Now there are always some elders who are looking after you, and they are there to supervise you. So the interaction that takes place with your teachers and your elders in the family is different. You cannot answer them back, okay? And if you want to do some things and you are not allowed to do, you can go and do it with your friends or discuss with your friends as well. So the learning here in the family with your elders and in school with your teachers and the principal is different, is done with a certain code of conduct. Okay, this is not so strict, family is not so strict, but school is extremely strict. But the interaction and the socialization process that is taking place with your peers is in a relaxing manner. Now let's do the neighbor. Interaction or socialization with your neighbor in the neighborhood. Okay, now neighbor is the people, your neighbors, the people who live near your houses, and the neighborhood is the area. Suppose this is your house, okay, just giving for some people who don't know the difference between neighbor and neighborhood. If these are different houses, okay, these are different houses, the people who live in these houses are your neighbors, and the houses or the entire area that is close to your house is the neighborhood. So this is the entire neighborhood, and the people living inside the houses are your neighbor. Now the interaction that takes place with your neighbor is also to a certain extent extremely close. Not as close as your family members, but there are some neighbors, immediate neighbors, that means who live just next to you. In fact, they are like family, okay, and they are also known as family friends. Okay, sometimes if they live near your house and you've been generation from these families have been living together, and they become so close that sometimes they even trust you with some, in case there is an emergency in the family and your parents have to leave you with them, they leave you with the neighbors who are extremely close to the family. Okay, they trust you. Now when you are interacting with these neighbors, even when there is an emergency, or even when there's no emergency, when you are interacting with these neighbors, you tend to learn certain things. Okay, now these neighbors may have kids who are your friends, and these neighbors also sometimes may love, because their children are your friends, may love you as much as they love their own kids. Okay, so that is how when you are interacting with the neighbors in the neighborhood, you are still learning. These neighbors may teach you to do certain things in a certain manner. Sometimes your parents may not have taught you, but your neighbors may teach you some things. Okay, now so here also when we are interacting, we are still learning. Now the last point that we are going to do today is mass media. Mass media, which includes through your cell phones, TVs. Okay, then we have the print media like the newspapers and the books. Okay, this comes under digital media, and this comes under the print media, that is the newspapers and books. Okay, this is under the print media, that means okay, it has been printed, and the top one is the digital media. Now when we are talking about the media, now all these things, if you see, they help or they give us information, and they also help us to connect with people. They help us to connect with people even though you have not personally met them. So let us first talk about your cell phones, because this is the most important one. Okay, this is the most important one. As children, you are influenced by the digital media. Actually, not cell phones also. Let's write digital media. Now, how does digital media help you in socializing? Through digital media, you get, if a certain person posts an information, the same information through the digital media, through televisions and especially through the internet, the television, now your cell phones, you have your cell phones, through that all these social networking sites, your Instagram, your Twitter, your Facebook, your WhatsApp, through all these methods, you are able, the single person is able to give information to thousands and thousands, in fact lakhs of people at a single time. Now, in Facebook, there is a system called comment section. Now, if there is a certain incident, political anything, there's a certain incident and then you start commenting. A person comments, now you don't like that comment, you start commenting on this person's, again this person interacts. Now, people have their own set of interaction of the same incident. Some may like it, some may not like it. So what you do is, here also, even though you are not personally meeting that person, you are first, what you're doing is you're trying to understand. No one is influencing you. You are trying to understand the incident based on your own understanding. You are trying to analyze it, and then again you start commenting on it. Somebody else comments on it. So here also you are interacting with each other, and what you're trying to do is you are collecting information, and then it helps you in understanding, and then what you do is you start socializing. Now, there are some people who may like it, some people may not like the incident. So what happens is, people who like it start forming another group, and people who don't like it, they start forming another group. So even without coming in contact with each other, groupism starts. You become a part of a certain group that you have not even met. Now, socialization through media is extremely important, because in the modern 21st century, socialization, the most important form of socialization, is happening through the media. Because media is the only mode or method of connecting people all over the world, even without coming in contact with each other. Okay, now through the media, it may have a positive development or may have a negative impact on you. Now, as a student, as teenagers, you should be able to channelize everything, your knowledge, your energy, towards the positive information. Now, socialization means, here we are talking about learning. The word socialization will always include learning. So what are you learning? Are you learning the positive things, or are you learning the negative things? Once you learn the negative things, are you trying to stay away from the negative things and stay towards the positive things? Or what is happening? Are you being so much influenced by the people, negative people, that you are moving away from the positive news and you are coming towards the negative things that is happening? So later on, once you start socializing through the media, later on in life, whatever you have learned through the media is helping you to develop your personality. So what kind of personality development takes place is a result of, especially because of the mass media. Alright, so now another thing is how you are connecting. First, I give you an example of how some incidences. Now, one of the most important examples, especially these are for the male people. Alright, these are for the males, especially for now there is a certain football team. Okay, People who support, let's say Manchester United, and then let's take Liverpool. Okay. Even without coming in contact with each other, there are a certain section in the society who follow Manchester United like it's a religion, and there are certain section of the society, even in Kalimpong, you have seen, especially during the World Cups, you have seen every section of the society following certain groups. Now these are staunch enemy, and people who follow these groups also, even without knowing each other, you become enemies of each other. So what is influencing you? Okay, what is influencing you? Mass media. Mass media is influencing what you are doing in the society. So when mass media is influencing individuals, especially growing individuals like you should be able to understand and analyze in such a way so that you will be able to imbibe or accumulate or gain only the positive knowledge from the mass media. So that later on in life, when you start reinforcing your knowledge, so that later on in life, when you become adults and when you start earning, you will be influencing. Now later on it becomes reverse. When you are a child, you get influenced. Now if there is a positive influence in you, later on in life, when you are trying to give back to the society, to your children, it will have a positive influence. But if you are influenced in a negative manner, and when you are giving back to your children, you also will be, see, whatever you have learned, you will start teaching to your children. So whenever there is an intake of knowledge, try, especially through the media, try to socialize, try to interact in a positive manner, so that later on in life, the things that you give back to the society is also positive. Alright, so we've come to the end of this section, that is the agents of socialization. Okay, thank you.